What's up, gamers and collectors? DGC back with another pickups video. Let's see what we got over the last month. Alright guys, so before I jump into the pickups, I just wanted to say that I will be at Too Many Games 2019 with Mainly Gaming, Maniac Gaming. He's always changing his name. Corey's his real name. So we'll be there all weekend, so if you want to meet up and hang out, or I don't know, whatever, just come find me, because I will be somewhere on the floor all 3 days. So see you there. Alright, so jumping into the pickups here, not a tremendous amount for once. We got Shakedown Hawaii. It's a PlayStation Vita game. I hope that it comes out for the PS4 and the Switch soon. Digitally, I believe it's already out or coming out soon. I would like physicals for it. And then once it comes out on the Switch, I'll probably get rid of this. This is still sealed. For that very reason, I don't know if I'm going to open this, just in the sense that it will sell easier if it's sealed. I would much rather have this on like a console, so PS4 or Switch would be preferred. I'm not really much of a handheld guy anymore now that I've gotten older, although when I was younger I mainly played on handhelds. So I forgot this one here. This is a RGB SCART cable for the Model 2 Genesis, which I needed because now I have the CD with the Model 1 high def with the 32X on it, and you have to have the Model 2, which I only had the Model 1. So finally grabbed one of those. Then we got a good bit of Switch stuff here. So I haven't tried this one yet. I did open this though. I was only able to snag the standard copy of Earthlock. This is a JRPG, I believe. Definitely an RPG. I don't know if it's a JRPG or a Western RPG. I don't know. But it's in the vein of an old school JRPG. Like, I would say it has graphics on the par with maybe, you know, like original Xbox or something. They're not super great looking, but you don't play an RPG for the graphics, you play for the story. Apparently this one's pretty fun. I'll definitely report back in on that. This is probably the next RPG that I actually really want to play after I finish Xenoblade, which I've been playing through over the last 2 months or so. Then we got two import Switch titles that did not come out physically here in North America. We got, this is the Capcom Belt Action Collection. I don't know what they call it. I think they call it the same thing here in America. So this is for the Switch. It does have a nice little artwork in there. This comes with 7 beat-em-up games. I've played, well, I've tried them all. I did beat Final Fight on here already. I really like Powered Gear. That must have been a arcade game. I'm pretty sure it was. Battle Circuit's really cool. Knights of the Round's pretty interesting. King of the Dragon, and then you got Captain Commando. That definitely was... actually, I think that might have came out on the NES as well, but this is obviously the arcade version. I believe all these are the arcade versions, but I think some of these definitely came out on console. I know Final Fight definitely did. I'm pretty sure Captain Commando did as well. So we got that one. Now this one right here, I believe this is going to be getting a North American release soon, but this is, I couldn't wait because I just really wanted to play this, and it's going to play the same anyway. This is Battle Princess Maiden. Really great game. Let's see here. Is that not just blank on the inside? I kind of hate when it's just straight up blank. Like, at least give me the warranty stuff or something in there. But there's like the art style for it and stuff. Beautiful. It's like a 32-bit Ghosts and Goblins type game. Really amazing game. Can't recommend that one enough. Both of these were actually only like 25 bucks each new from Play Asia. And then obviously you have to pay for the shipping, which kind of sucks, but it wasn't terrible. Then we got here, this is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. I did open it. I'm not going to open it all up here because, yeah, I already took the card out though, so that I don't have to finger bang all this stuff all the time just to touch it. Very nice packaging, very reminiscent of the NES. Castlevania's obviously. I believe the same artist did the front cover and everything. And then the back's obviously nice, and then the sides are Switch red, which is really good for shelf organization purposes. Really good game. It's not as hard as I had thought it would be, because I waited till the physical came out because I knew it would. And yeah, I assumed it would be a lot more difficult, but it's actually not. Picked up the 3 PSVR games this month actually. So this one actually just came out. This is Blood and Truth. So this, if you recall, when the PlayStation VR came out, they had the PlayStation Worlds disc that came with all of them for a while. And there was one game on their tech demo that was called London Heist. That was from London Studios, conveniently enough. So it was basically, you were like a robber, and then it was like a robbery gone wrong, and then a lot of it took place in a vehicle at the end, and then you're kind of doing like a Matrix style highway thing, shooting, out the window, or you're in a van, you're just shooting out the windows and shit. Really fun tech demo. People enjoyed that demo so much that they made a full-fledged game out of it. It's not the same story or characters or anything like that, but so I've only played probably about half of this. I think this takes about 5 or 6 hours to beat, and what I've done so far, your family is like a mob family in England, and you're the oldest son, I believe, and then you're actually in the military, you're like special forces, and your dad gets a heart attack from where I'm at right now. I don't know if that's necessarily how he died, I don't know, but you go back and you try to reassemble the mob, and I don't know. The story's not like the greatest story in the world, but it's basically a cover mechanic, first-person shooter type thing. You can play it with the standard controller or with the aim controllers. It's pretty good. It could be better. I would like it to use the actual aim gun. That just kind of works the best for shooting games on the PlayStation. But visually, this is definitely one of the better realistic style graphics, and I'll touch on that in a second. So for as far as like, trying to make it look like a real person, these are some of the better graphics the PlayStation VR's had. So I think they're finally dialing in how to make the graphics decent, because PlayStation VR, one thing that it has always suffered from is the graphics are not the greatest for realistic, photorealistic type games such as that or other things. But for cartoony games such as this one, Trover Saves the Universe, it's very great at doing that because it's easy to make cartoon graphics look decent. So this, I believe this is just PlayStation and Steam, or just PC rather. And it's not just a VR game, it has a VR mode in it, which is essentially you just play the full game in VR. Absolutely, I think this is probably my favorite VR game now. Even if you don't have a VR, I cannot recommend this one enough. This is $30. It's a 5-hour story, but it's probably one of the best stories you'll ever play in a game. Be prepared for cussing pretty much every 5 seconds in the game. It's from the people that made Rick and Morty, or one of the guys, and just an absolute blast to play this game. I played it in 3 sittings. I couldn't put it down. Like, I only put it down to like go make dinner and then like do laundry, and then that was pretty much it. And I just played the whole thing all this weekend, and I just had an absolute blast playing this game. It was just such a fun game. Such a ridiculous story to it. I can see on the back here that it won tons of awards, and so essentially you play as a guy called a chair Orphean, and you're sitting in a chair, and you got the controller here, and then you've got like 2 big ass armrests here, and whenever you get like an item, it'll like, I don't know, fucking telewarp to your like your cup holders basically, and it's just such a funny game. Then there's the Astainers, and they're these big 4. They look like Patrick Starfish, basically. There's a red one, an orange one, a purple one, and a green one. The green one, his name is... fuck was his name? Oh, man, I literally just beat this the other day. It was something... I honestly can't remember. What the hell was his name? I don't remember, honestly. But super funny game. So essentially, the main character, the chair Orphean, he gets his dogs taken, and then the dogs get to become the eyes of the main protagonist, and you go on this adventure with Trover, and he's like a little purple looking pickle guy, and go figure, Rick and Morty. And and then there's like these little babies that you put into your eye. It's just the most ridiculous game you could think of. The most over the top, ridiculously funny game you could think of. This tops it, guaranteed. It is such a funny game. It's just a blast. Then we got a non-VR game here. This is Ice Cream Surfer. So this is a shoot 'em up. I have not gotten around to playing this one yet, but pretty cool game. Pretty cool from the looks of it. You are a kid riding on a ice cream cone, and you fight vegetables. So Sounds like a pretty solid shoot 'em up to me. Now the other PlayStation VR game that I grabbed was Ghost Giant. I got this at the beginning of the month. This is a really, again, so when I was talking about like cartoonish animated graphics, Trover and then this game, since they do more of a cartoony style, they look phenomenal. Same with like Moss and Astrobot. They just look phenomenal on PlayStation VR. Whereas the more realistic games, they're kind of just, the power's just not there to make those VR games look that great. But Blood and Truth does look the best. Wipeout looks really good. Like Resident Evil 7, for example, on the PlayStation VR, really not a good looking game. And it kind of deters from me even wanting to play it, because I put it on, I was like, oh, this looks like, it's all muddy, and the anti-aliasing is just terrible. But back to Ghost Giant. So you're like this little cat dude, and you're like, your mom's missing and or dead. I'm only about halfway through this one. But it is really fun what I've played now. It's kind of like an action puzzle game. And you're this little cat guy, and he's suffering from depression, and you kind of just go through the story, and you learn about his life, and you're just going on this great adventure. And it's just, from what I've played, it is very fun. I've been actually finding myself trying to just beat a lot of these VR games, because like this I think is like 6 to 8 hours. This took me like 4.5, 5 hours. And then Blood and Truth, I believe, is about 5 hours as well, which is something, I forget who I was talking to. I was talking to somebody on Twitter about it. Like, I just miss being able to like just straight up beat an entire game in a weekend, because you can't do that anymore. Like, everything is just so open worldy now, to where you have to devote 40 to 100 hours to beat a game, and it's just like, ugh. I'm an adult, I have a job full time, like plus some. Like, I don't have the time to devote to these big ass open worlds anymore. And like, where was that when I was a teenager in the mid 2000s? Like, that would have been great back then, when I like didn't have a job, and like got home from school and did homework, and then like had tons of free time to just play games. But they were like super short back then because of hardware limitations. But now they just keep pumping out these massive things. Like at the beginning of the year, I was doing I don't know, and then I put in, Assassin's Creed Odyssey to finally try it. Yeah, Odyssey, the new one, to finally try that out, and I got that for Christmas for like $30, and I paused it, and I looked at the map, and I was like, I don't even have time for this, so I'm just taking this back out. The map is just, it's just ridiculous, because that one takes place as like a Greek time era thing, and there's lots of little islands and whatnot, and then like the main island that you're on, and I just don't have time for it anymore. Like, I find myself doing VR games and more retro games, just because you can sit down for an hour or two and enjoy it, and then you're done. And it's getting to be too much with these big ass open world games. Now, last game here I got PS2 game, probably my favorite PS2 game, which I did have a copy of. However, I got rid of it because it was a greatest hits copy, and I don't like greatest hits in my collection. So this is Jak 2. Arguably, I would say the best PS2 game. Yeah, I said it. I just really, what year did this come out? This was 2003, so I would have been, well, depending on what time of the year it was, this probably would have been a holiday title, so I was probably about 14 when this came out. It just came out at the right time in my life, because you're like kind of this like badass, like rebel guy, and you're just shooting everything, and just it just came out at the right time in my life, and I absolutely fell in love with the series after this. Then I played the first one, and then I played the third one. Jak X is kind of a meh, but just a phenomenal game. Paid $2 for this, and it is. I picked it up at the flea. I got this one at the flea market, and I picked it up, and I was like, oh my god, nobody's ever even touched this thing. It's absolutely mint. The case is still like silky smooth. The manual's mint. No scratches on the disc, and but yeah, so these are all the pickups for this month here. Nothing too crazy. I've been kind of just not buying a lot, because I want to spend some good time with Corey at Too Many Games, and I guess whomever else I end up running into, and just really go hardcore game hunting while I'm at Too Many Games all 3 days. So I've never done the whole 3-day one. I've always just gone on Saturdays. I've only been 2 times, and I always just did Saturdays. Excuse me. So this time, I've always been told that Sunday is the best day to get games, because all the vendors don't want to pack everything back up. And so Corey and I are hoping that we get some good deals on some games this year. I'm mainly just focusing on like some Wii stuff, some PS2 stuff. There's a couple GameCube titles that I'm looking for. and then maybe, you know, maybe some cheaper Genesis complete in box games, maybe some Saturn stuff or some Sega CD stuff. Nothing super crazy that I'm looking for. Really no high price tag items that I'm looking for or anything, just because retro gaming is just kind of at this weird phase where it's like, I feel as if the prices are finally at a plateau. I don't really notice anything dramatically like spiking up anymore like they used to, but prices on games are just getting to the point where like I really want to get Castlevania Bloodlines, but due to my anal retentiveness with collecting, like I have to get that in the plastic clamshell as mint as possible for a 25-year-old game, and you're talking $250 for that, and it's just like, do I really want to spend that much money on a Castlevania game that, you know, they probably printed at least 1 million or 2 million of those in America alone. So how it costs that much still, I don't know, but evidently it does. But yeah, that's pretty much all the pickups and too many games, and I got a good bit of videos coming out here in the future. I got a couple collabs and a couple more Wii U videos, and the Xbox videos are going to continue eventually, guys. I'm still just kind of like getting settled in, and just this is kind of not really working back here behind me. I need to get, I bought this recently, this shelf, and I need to get another one, and then my Xbox games aren't even out here. This is just like the third party shit. This isn't the exclusives. They're all in the closet here, and it just makes doing the videos very difficult, because then I got to take them out, and so bear with me, being that I haven't made a single penny off of YouTube yet. So it's not like I'm just going to go aimlessly buy more shelves just to make more videos and do this and that. So you guys kind of have to bear with me till I feel like buying one, and then getting the games out, and then getting the videos ready. So if you're wondering where those are, I've been getting a lot of questions like, when are you going to finish that stuff up? They will all be out by the end of the year, I can say that. I just don't know when. I think there's still about 7 or 8 more episodes that need to be recorded, and then they took a good while to record all the gameplay and get all the, you know, the B-roll pictures, and then, you know, editing and doing the thumbnail and all that good stuff. If you make content, you know how that goes. It takes a long period of time to get all that stuff going for those videos, because they're usually 25 minutes or so, and that's a long edit to edit in gameplay for 15-20 games, and it's just a long process. So they are coming, guys. I do promise that they will be out eventually, and I got a bunch of Wii U stuff coming. I'm excited to finally be jumping into some Wii U videos. Really loving playing the Wii U again. I've been really having a blast playing that here lately too. Just kind of replaying through all the really good first-party titles and some of the indie games and whatnot. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. Peace out for now. Till next time.
Come here, you mother...